I got this!
You ready for me?
Let's do this. Here we go again!
Alright, so welcome to the Ultra Super Dead Rising 3, whatever this game's called, series of videos. I will be playing through all 4 levels as all 4 characters. This video we will be doing Ingleton as Nick Ramos, the main character of Dead Rising 3. And yeah, this mode is pretty great. It is a lot of fun.
Round 1. Kill the zombies.
Come on, Nick, you can do this.
Ready, go!
So right off the bat, you'll see that there's a little bit of a difference in the graphical style of this game. It is not as realistic as it was in Dead Rising 3. It's a little more, I guess, cel-shaded, which I think really works, because the DLC is fairly ridiculous, and there's a lot of ridiculous costumes that you can play as, and I think it actually would have, I don't know, it would have really clashed if this game was realistic looking. So each level has about 5 stages. You do different things throughout the stages, and it's pretty cool. Every character controls differently. Well, they don't control differently, they all have different moves. Some characters are better than others. Nick, I think, has a mixed bag of costumes. I don't think... There's a few of them that aren't too great, and, you know, there's others that are really good. And of course, you can't just go through all of Ingleton right now. You know, it's some parts of it are blocked off, stuff like that. Now, in these videos, I won't be showing off the character's second costume, just because it's not as, you know, the original costume's cool and all. I'll show that off, but the second costume is usually just like, here's one that's like pretty much their original costume, but something else added to it. And you have these super moves, which are pretty cool. Each character, again, has a different one, and depending on the costume, it's even different then. And 750 zombies may seem like a daunting task to take out in, you know, 200 or 310 seconds. But it's really not that bad. But anyway, the second costume is like, for Nick, it's just him in a tuxedo. I'm not going to show that off because that's like nothing. And when you get the armor here, the super armor, it's you get the Arthur helmet from Dead Rising 2. The best way to do this part is to go over here, grab this rocket launcher, just start randomly firing. That'll clear out quite a few. And then after you waste the rocket launcher, go in this vehicle thing right here, and you'll get a roller hog. And pretty much this is how I like to do it. You just drive around this graveyard and you kill everything, and you will have it done in about a minute. Maybe even less. But yeah, this mode is a lot of fun. It's not as super amazing as like Mercenaries or Raid mode or something like that, but it is still a lot of fun. And I mean, there's not as many varieties of maps, so you know, it doesn't always keep me coming back. I'd rather play the story mode of Dead Rising 3, but it is still a whole lot of fun. And I don't have Xbox Live because I don't feel like paying $50 or $60 a year for a service I will use once and then never again. So I've never played this game online. I've always just played by myself. I don't know if you could do local co-op. I highly doubt it because, you know, local co-op is fun and we're not allowed to have fun in video games anymore. But yeah, there's a lot of extra like weapons and stuff that you can pick up. Like there's a kind of like a drone strike thing that you can use. There's the rocket launchers. Those are all over the place. There's Gatling guns. And yeah, but the roller hog I think is the way to go. See, there we go. That was about like a minute or two. It's really not that hard. Now, every character and every costume has a different song that plays at the end of their level, like in this screen. This is like the Dead Rising 3 theme, or it's a song from Dead Rising 3. I'd consider it the Dead Rising 3 theme, because you hear this song quite a lot in the game. So let's go, stage 2.
Round 2, destroy the generators.
I'm ready.
Ready, go!
So this is a costume and a character from Power Stone, which is a fighting game series that I believe originated on the Dreamcast, I want to say. I have never played any of the Power Stone games, so that's why a lot of Nick's costumes kind of fall flat for me, because I've never played Power Stone. What else? No, I think this is actually the only one that I really don't know anything about. But it's a little weird, it's a little uncontrollable, so doing it in this level wasn't really the greatest. Because I don't know, he moves around a lot when he does his attacks. But I'm not, like, switching in-game, like, hey, the next level I want to have this costume. No, I went all out for this series. I had to really spend a lot of time. This 20-minute video was about an hour-long recording, because what I had to do was I had to keep recording this entire Ingleton section over and over again with different costumes. Like the first level I did as Nick, and then I exited out after the first stage was done, and then I had to go back in as this character, do the first level over again, and then go into this level. And then when this level was over, I had to quit out, go into the next costume, do the first and second level over again, and then do the third level. So that was something. It took quite a while, and I have a feeling by the end of recording every single character, I'm going to be very sick of Super Dead Rising Ultra HD Remix EX Plus Alpha 2. I don't know. I always forget what this game's called because it's so ridiculous. This was also the DLC that really pushed me over the edge into buying an Xbox One and buying Dead Rising 3, because I figured I was going to wait until last year's E3 to see if they were ever going to finally, you know, release Dead Rising 3 on the PS4. And then I was like, oh my god, they're going to show, there's going to be a new trailer, and then they're going to say, you know, now for PS4. But it was a trailer for this, and this alone was enough to make me angry at Xbox, but also buy an Xbox One at the same time. Because I was like, hell yeah, you could play as Chuck and Frank in this. That's all I needed to hear. And then I bought it, like a week later. Actually, I bought this in August, I think. So I've had it for almost a year now, and I still only have 2 games for it. I had this game and Halo the Master Chief Collection. And the Master Chief Collection I barely play. This is the only game that ever goes in my Xbox One. But hey, it was worth it. I've gotten a lot of use out of this game so far. I've beaten it like 5 times. I Let's Played it. I play this a shit ton. And now I'm doing videos on this. So I'd say I got my money's worth. About $500 for an Xbox One. Totally worth it. So, the way that you have to unlock a lot of the costumes is sometimes you have to get S ranks on the levels. If you were to just go through and, like, pretty much do what I'm doing now, and that's just do all the objectives and don't worry about the zombies, you won't unlock really any of the costumes because you won't really get an S rank. The best way to get points, I find, is just kill the zombies. And it's really good to have, like, already, like, at least 1 or 2 good costumes unlocked. So, if you have a costume that's really good, like, has really powerful attacks, really good special attack, you'll do fine. Just kill all the zombies. Like, if they're in your way and you're going to an objective, just kill them on the way. So that's how I find you are best off to do that. And again, the characters will have like little quotes at the the bottom left corner of the screen. I assume that that's like probably an in-joke for Power Stone. I've never played Power Stone, so I don't know. Anyway, now I do believe we'll be going on to the bonus level.
Bonus round! Smash the car!
You must defeat Shenlong to stand a chance.
Ready?
See, now that's a joke I get. Because that was like a big thing back in the old Street Fighter days. That was a mistranslation in the game that led people to think that there was an extra character called Shenlong that you had to defeat in order to actually beat the game. This is the Ryu costume. This is probably my second favorite Nick outfit. It's definitely cool because he can like Hadouken and Shoryuken and stuff like that. But I'll be showing this off twice technically because again I didn't want to show off the Tuxedo Nick, and I figured Ryu makes a lot of sense in this area because it's a Street Fighter thing. But yeah, I'll be showing this off twice. I'll be showing it off here and in the last level because it makes sense in both of those levels. This one I kind of cut it a little close. There are better characters to do that as, but again, I figured I'd do it because it was Ryu. I love the Street Fighter 4 theme. I just want to put that out there. I love how many times you hear it remixed in this game. It just is so great. I'd say it's sort of the main theme of this DLC, just because of the amount of times you hear it.
Round 4. Rescue the survivors! Ready, go!
Just think, that day, Nick's voice actor got a call, and he said, you know, Capcom called him up, and they were like, hey, yo, we need you to record some new lines for a DLC we're going to do for Dead Rising 3. And he was like, yeah, cool, we're going to have an awesome story DLC where we're going to take Nick to new levels. You know, take him to places he's never seen before. And then he got in the recording booth, and the voice director said, alright, we need you to make some licking noises and then say meow in a very effeminate voice. That was his day that day. But anyway, this is the Felicia costume from Darkstalkers. Another series I don't really have much experience with. I know about the characters because of like Marvel vs. Capcom and stuff like that, but I've never played a Darkstalkers game. I mean, I've played as characters like Morrigan and Felicia and like, you know, other Marvel vs. Capcom games, but I've never, you know, played a Darkstalkers game. And her, or his, it's technically his because it's Nick, but his super move is really great because he does this kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog spin dash thing, and if you need to get places quickly, it's very useful. So I just kind of like doing that when playing as Felicia. Now this is an E-Tank, but it has a T on it. If you use it, it turns you into Tofu, which is the only Resident Evil reference this DLC really has. Which is very unfortunate, but hey, at least there's something Resident Evil in there. The other S-Tanks usually have an S on them. and they fill up your super meter. So pretty much the tofu things are there just to trick you. You don't want to turn into tofu. Tofu was always one of those just really bizarre concepts in a Resident Evil game. Like, he was essentially a just a test of, like, I think it was the enemies, like, in how they attack you and stuff, or like enemy tracking or something like that. And then they just turn him into like a secret, you know, joke character in the game. I'm doing this very bass-ackwards. I usually have a path where I start from one side and work my way over to the other. And that is not what I'm doing right now. I'm all over the place.
Survivor rescue. Charged up.
And it's like, all the little touches, like, if you play as the Felicia Nick, you're not going to just get all the voice clips from regular Nick. Like, even all his grunts is the voice actor being very effeminate, like that. Like, you know, they don't just reuse voice clips, which I think is really neat, and it helps make all the characters feel different from each other. I do believe the last one I want to get is in that, like, little boxing area. But yeah, because of this, Felicia is one of my favorite characters to play as. Probably my favorite Nick costume. Because he's got a very good, like, set of attacks with his claws, and obviously the super attack is very useful. And who would have ever thought you'd see this in a Dead Rising game, you know? Alright, so let's get this last guy and get up on out of here. That pose and that picture is just so disturbing to me.
Perfect.
I think a perfect you get if you don't pick up any health items. I think. Like, they'll give you health items, but if you don't go out of your way to pick one up, I think that's how you get a perfect. I think. Don't quote me on that. And now let's move on to the last level.
Power alone is no guarantee of victory.
Ready, go!
So again, here's the Ryu costume. This is why I wanted to show it off in another level too, is because there's not a lot of like fighting in this level. It's pretty much, alright, you get in a car and then drive to the end of this little area here. Like, right up there is where this ends. And I figured, yeah, I'm probably going to actually want to, like, show him off a little later. But here is a super zombie. These guys are fairly prevalent in this DLC. Sometimes you'll have to fight multiple at a time. I would say get rid of these guys, because this is really the only way you're going to get points in this level. Another good way to actually get points, I've found, is instead of using your super move on the super zombies, just take them down little by little, because you get, like, 1,000 points each time. And, you know, after a while, that's going to add up. So this guy will be done in about one more hit, I'd say, from a Hadouken. There we go. And then at the end, they give you some chests with some Zenny in it. Zenny are the currency of this DLC. I have bought all the characters, and I continue to get Zenny. I'm not sure what it can be used for, if anything. You know, after I beat the, or unlock all the costumes. So I have all the Zenny, and I have nothing to do with it. So there we go. That's the end of Nick. I'll never make a video with Nick Ramos in it ever again. That's a little sad. At least not in Dead Rising 3. And then at the end, they're gonna total all of your 4 or 5 levels, and then they're gonna give you some bonuses. and then they'll kind of add them all up and rank you. I think it's usually about 1,000,000 points to get an S rank, except in the first level, where it's I think around 700 to 800. So the first level's a little more lenient. Anyway, join me in the second video where we play as Annie.